What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to our Fate Reforged set review. We are strictly better MTG. I'm Devin.
And I'm Tony.
And we're here today to give you the black cards from Fate Reforged here. Mostly for limited play and at your local pre-release, but we go over some standard applications too. So let's jump right into it here with Alicia's Vanguard. That's a 3 and a black for a 3/3. Hey, it's a hill giant. It's got dash, 2, and a black. I'd say it's fine. It's not particularly exciting, but what do you think?
I kind of like this card in limited because for a mana less than its normal mana cost, you can attack with it with haste, and it's going to come back to your hand, so it's got protection. It's not sticking around, hanging out, waiting for anything. You can keep doing it whenever you want to. It's kind of like it's lightning bolt on a stick.
I think the dash
not lightning bolt, lightning strike.
Maybe, you know,
I mean,
it's
like
it's 3 damage on a stick, you know. There was a card back in the day that all the dash, by the way, a new ability we haven't covered yet. Just basically, instead of its mana cost, you pay the dash cost, comes into play, has haste, and then comes back to your turn at the end of the hand. It's an old card back in the day, Viashino Sandstalker, that had exactly this ability. That's what dash is, and Viashino Sandstalker is really good. But this, it's like dash is sort of it's protection, yes, and with a slight downside in that it's harder to play on curve.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to play this guy again on the 4th turn or the 5th turn, or you know what I mean. Maybe on the 4th turn, sure. But it's a lot of these dash cards. You lose value when you have to play them over and over, and you can't play other stuff. But this guy is fine. I wouldn't say like many copies. Vanilla creatures aren't great necessarily, but hill giants are traditionally good. So yeah, I would say he's a fine 20 to 23rd card in that area somewhere. So let's move on. I think
these have all seemed to be in that
yeah. Well, it's
they're either
cards,
really high or really low.
Yeah, exactly. What I was gonna say, we haven't seen like a whole lot of like this is mid tier, you know, obviously. But this might be. I would say this is low to mid tier.
Let's see. We got Ancestral Vengeance. It's 2 black for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, and the enchanted creature gets -1/-1.
Yeah.
So you're gonna lower a guy so you can kill it, or possibly kill a guy with that, and put a +1/+1 on your guy, and for just 2 black, it's not great, but it ain't bad.
The thing is, I don't feel like particularly inspired by this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like if you don't get a whole lot of removal, like the +1/+1 counter is fine. The -1/-1 is fine too, but it's you know, you'll probably have better stuff, and it's a little black intensive for what it does. Again, not too great, but you can't really underestimate the power of -1/-1. I mean, it's
a thing.
Yeah, that's the thing, is every time you try to discount it, you play against it and it sucks. You know, this card probably sucks to play against, but again, not too happy. The next few cards I'm pretty happy about though. Archfiend of Depravity. I know Tony loves this guy. This 3 and 2 black for a 5/4 flyer. That's a good body at a pretty aggressive cost. And check this out. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses up to 2 creatures, and then they sacrifice the rest. So every end step, they go down to 2 creatures. We've talked about a couple of times in like limited. There's a lot of times you only have 2 or 3 creatures. So I don't actually think that this is, for that last ability, as amazing as everyone says it is. Obviously, in Commander, this is good against like some of the stupid token strategies, you know, and some of the aggro stuff you see. But in Seal, this is fine for no other reason than it's a aggressively costed 5-powered flyer, you know. So I don't know what you got. I know you like this card. We've talked about it in Standard a little bit.
I kind of like it in sort of a Mardu deck.
Yeah.
Like something, I mean, don't get me wrong, obviously you're probably going to want Stormbreath Dragon over this.
Like Butcher the Horde, you know?
Yeah, like there's plenty of other, or one of the cards we're coming up to, but I don't know. I don't really see it becoming too much of a thing in Standard. If it does, it's going to be in like a blue-black control as a sideboard option to go up against like super aggro tempo decks.
Like I don't think that control can like safely cast this against aggro too often. But...
yeah, they would so much rather be able to cast a board wipe against them.
Yeah, that's the thing. For 5 mana, you can hit hostilities, and that's better. You know?
But at the same time, there's a couple mid-range decks out there that this will get rid of a lot of their mana rampers.
I can see that. Like I don't know if this
would otherwise be using to try and chump block you with. So that's kind of a thing.
The thing is, they sacrifice like all their crappiest dudes, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I traditionally like stuff like this. It's obviously like a huge bomb and limited no matter what way. If you open this guy, you should totally play him. But aside from that, like people have been batting him around in Standard and stuff like mono black aggro and things like that. But I think even that deck probably has better options. Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, we've actually been brewing up mono black aggro a little bit over the last month or so.
Yeah, I've got it really. I have it looking really nice. I can't wait to get to an F&M. I've just been waiting to get the money up for it.
Well, it's just we do have a couple of things we need to pick up for it, but it's looking good in playtesting. So I don't know that this card slots into at least what we've been working on. So,
no, but there's one coming up.
Yeah, there's a couple coming up actually. The next two cards I really like. What you got?
Next up, we've got Battle Brawler for a black and 1. He's a 2/2, so he's a 2/2 bear. And as long as you control a red or white permanent, Battle Brawler gets +1/+0 and has first strike, so he'll be a 3/2 first striker for 2. Which, in a warrior deck, because he is a warrior, this guy's going to be a great 2-drop selection. Like, he's already going to be a 3/2 first striker. If you have any of your chieftains out there, potentially 3/3 or 4/3 or 4/2. If you get both, you get 4/3.
Well, if you get both, if you have both chiefs, you basically get a +1/+1 on a warrior. But
so that means 3/3, and then his own.
It'll be a 4/4. Well, a 4/3. Yeah. First strike 4/3. This seems like a red card. To me, and like black, honestly, it hardly ever gets 2-mana 2/2s. Black usually it has bears, but they have like downsides and weird stuff. And like this is a bear in black, and like I know it says if you control a red or white permanent, but I feel like this helps warriors just be a black-white deck.
Yeah. And
this goes really well with like you play Marty Woe Reaper, the white 1-drop, the 2-power guy. Play him first turn, Battle Brawler second turn, or one of your chiefs. I just love that warrior's got a good 1-drop and a good 2-drop, and this guy is really solid.
And then there's the the flying 1-drop that's bird.
Oh, the warrior. Yeah, exactly. They got 2 good 1-drops. Actually. Yeah. And I feel like this guy is really strong. Probably the best of the cycle of if you control a color, blah blah blah. This does more things. Probably the best of that entire cycle. I'm pretty excited about this dude. If you haven't been able to tell, I really like my favorite thing about Magic is efficiently costed creatures. Like nothing else really makes me excited. This guy makes me really, really excited because I love white black warriors and Marty warriors. So and he slots in there very nicely even in Standard. And play him in limited because 3/2 first strike is crazy. First strike is really good. First strike is crazy in limited formats. So, but we can probably move on. I would say I had to gush a little bit but if you think I was gushing about that guy,
no, just wait.
Yeah, this is one of my top picks. This is one of my favorite cards in the entire set.
This is. Honestly, I think this might be in my top 3 cards of the set.
Yeah, I was gonna say top 3, but I hesitate a little bit. The 4-mana red guy that's a 4/2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like he's just kind of broken. He's just abilities on abilities on abilities. Yeah. He just does everything, and this guy is like that. Yeah, we'll get there. I feel like this guy's kind of a counterpart in some ways. But Brutal Horde Chief is the guy we've been talking about and not telling you what he is. Brutal Horde Chief is a 3 and a black for a 3/3, another hill giant. Whenever a creature you control attacks, defending player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And if Hellrider with Drain wasn't good enough, you also get 3 Boros, 5 mana. Creatures your opponents control block this turn if able, and you choose how those creatures block. So I can't talk about this card. I can't get through it without laughing.
And then on top of this, let's not forget one of the most important factors. He is also a warrior.
He's a warrior. This guy is a 4-mana 3/3 warrior with Hell Rider ability that drains life, and you can, in an aggro build, you can choose how they block. Like, you can. It's worth noting, by the way, you can make all the creatures block your crappiest dude, and like get all your other guys through, or you can just you can wreck them on blocks. You know, this is the funniest card ever. It's aggressively costed. That first ability is amazing. Like, if you remember playing with Hell Rider, that it's just so abusable. Like, it's not that hard to make that ability just like win you the game almost. And the life swing off of it too is crazy. And he's splashable.
I know,
like,
this is also, in my opinion, one of the most pushed cards in the set.
He's very pushed. Like, this guy should cost more than 4. You know, he should be like maybe 3 and 2 black even. You know, and
I could see him being Hell Rider stats, just double black and 2.
In 2, yeah. Just a little more intensive, you know.
But no, he's splashable and he's completely Mardu'd out. And oh my god,
we go on a limb like this. Yeah, this is standard, I think. Like, I think that he has more applications than just the Warriors deck. You know, I really, really like this guy.
This is going in my black aggro deck. I've already.
Yeah, I mean that's where it goes.
I've tested this. It's a thing.
Black got so many good like 1-drops.
Yeah. You
know, and you just play this guy. He's so easy to play on curve, and you got some like really mean black 3-drops, like the 5/5 flyers. You know, those guys. Well, the 3/3 flyer, the 5/5 flyer. Those are both like great on turn 3, and you follow it up with this, and it's this card's good. There's many applications, and there's probably somebody out there that's like, this card isn't good at all. It's not as good as it looks. This card is very good. Like, I don't care what you say. This card's good. So let's move on to another good card.
Blue-black players have been waiting for their board wipe. Well, this is about the best they're going to get. It is 5 mana, so it's still as much as the white, and it's double black and 3 colorless. It's sorcerer speed. But it's not quite the best board wipe.
Yeah, it's not comparable.
Choose one, destroy all dragon creatures, or destroy all non-dragon creatures. Well, to be honest, aside from Stormbreath Dragon, I don't see too many other dragons coming
really breaking in. Yeah, they're really impressive to like read, but at the end of the day, you know, they're just huge dragons at high cost, and sometimes those break in standard if they're good enough, but often they're, you know, $2 rares. So, you know,
the green-white one may become a thing, but
I like the green-white one too.
I don't see it.
Yeah. But Crux of Fate, you're almost always going to choose the destroy all non-dragon creatures. That much is pretty sure. It's not Damnation. It's not Damnation, guys. I'm sorry about that, but especially for you. Like, I know you're the blue-black. Like, he's the Dimir Esper guy, and he probably really would rather play Crux of Fate than in Hostilities, but I don't think it's going to happen, buddy. I'm sorry. Sorry. Crux of Fate's still good, though. And, of course, it goes without saying, if you get this and you're sealed, just play this. The worst that can happen is you destroy a dragon. That's the absolute worst thing that can possibly happen. 9 times out of 10, you're going to blow apart the entire board with this card. So play it. It goes without saying that it's crazy.
And even then, killing a single dragon can still be a huge kill.
I mean, honestly, in this format, a 5 mana spot removal spell is fine. It's really not that bad. That's how lacking we are in removal.
Yeah.
So let's go on. And with this, first of all, one more thing. When this was spoiled at PAX, everyone was like, this is going to be the craziest card, and are they going to be dragons or not? And like, Wizards did a good job like building mystique for the set, but it just turns out like there's probably going to be a couple of dragons about, you know. So that sort of decreases the value a little bit. But it's still board wipe, and at the very least, a couple will probably be main decked. I feel like this is one of those where you split it in the 75. You know, you split some on the board and some of the main. But,
all day. Honestly, I feel like blue-black players are still better off playing Perilous Vault.
Perilous Vault's good. Perilous Vault is still good. It's a little like it's very expensive.
Yeah, I know it's a little expensive, but at the same time, like
It's seen play.
It still works, and it's going to hit everything on the board.
Yeah, no matter what.
So as long
that's what control wants to do too, is just hit everything.
Yeah.
On to Dark Deal. This it's interesting. Dark Deal is 2 and a black, sorcery speed. Each player discards everything in their hand and then draws that many, -1. So again, worth noting that you'll never actually generate advantage off of this card. In a couple of ways, because you lose Dark Deal itself. You know, you're losing 2 cards in some ways. But this is a Delve Enabler. I mean, we said that about a lot of stuff, this set. But I think this is a pretty decent Delve Enabler, you know?
I like the fact that it's kind of, it's basically cycle 1 plus X cards.
This kind of cycle, yeah. Yeah. Huh.
Like,
Yeah, I kind of hadn't really thought about that. And, like, you force them to do it, too. You know?
Yeah.
They might want to. Or they might really not want to.
And if you're playing with a delve strategy, you know, you're just going to feed into your delve as long as you make sure, like, you're going to cast it when you don't have anything that you're worried about getting rid of. And if you see your opponent with, like, only 1 card in hand, then why the hell not use it?
That's a cute trick. I guess I hadn't thought about that either.
Like, you know, they've only got that 1 card that they really want. Make them discard that and get a different one. Maybe they just draw a land. Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
And say you've got 2 or 3
Well, they
cards.
don't. They wouldn't be able to draw a card at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they only have 1 card in hand, they don't get to draw.
Oh yeah, -1. Nice. So they have to have more than 1 card.
So in Magic Christmas Land, you can pitch 5, and they don't get to draw any cards. You know,
Yeah.
so it's kind of cool. But at the same time, bottom line, I think in Sealed, I don't like this in Draft, but in Sealed, I think you might play 1 copy in a very delve-intensive strategy. This is one of those cards. It's like it's a specialist. This is a specialist card. You know, if you're playing that strategy, it's very good. Otherwise, I don't think so.
Yeah, it is very delve intensive. Honestly, as a blue-black player, a 1-of in a delve deck where I'm trying to
Like
dig through
F&M.
time,
Yeah.
like...
Yeah. You just have to be careful, you know. You don't.
You do have to be very careful.
What hurts is like in a delve-intensive strategy, it's entirely possible that you put yourself in a situation where this is in your hand, and so are like 2 or 3 other delve cards. And you're in a situation where you can't fuel delve, and you can't discard the cards in your hand because they are delve cards. So I don't know. It feels like slightly a trap to
Fair
me.
enough.
But I mean, it has cool applications. There's stuff you can do. But let's move on. I'm gonna give this one to you. This is all yours.
Diplomacy of the Waste for a black and 2 colorless. It's a sorcery. Target opponent reveals his or her hand from you choose an online card from it, and then that player discards that card. If you control a warrior, that player loses 2 life.
Yeah. If you control a warrior, gravy.
Yeah.
Just cranberry sauce on top. Really? It's not.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not really
See,
sure either.
I feel like in a warrior deck, like if you can plan a warrior deck in limited, this might not be a bad thing because discarding limited is kind of good. Like
It can be. You know, people
just
play Mind
ripping-
Rot.
Yeah, you're just ripping a card out of their hand, and
They
if
say,
you happen to have your warrior thing going, you can have them lose 2 life.
You happen to.
And there's plenty of decent warrior things in this limited format. You could make something like that happen.
I mean, losing 2 life isn't that big of a deal, but I also feel like if you don't get to pull that off, it's just nowhere near as good.
Yeah.
It's Coercion, I think was the name of that card. It's like 2 and a black, look at their hand, they discard a card. I don't know if it's non-land or not, but this is about the same as that. And honestly, I don't really see it going anywhere. I mean, especially now you got Thoughtseize in the format. We got, you know.
Oh no, I didn't mean standard anytime.
Oh yeah, obviously. I don't really like this card in Sealed either. I just think you kind of pass it by. And people play Mind Rot in Sealed, but that's discard too. Now in this, it's targeted, but I still don't much care for it. I just think there's much better stuff. You know, like this next card, actually. We talk a lot about how there's not much removal in this set. Well, here's some. Douse in Gloom is this card. Eventually, names for Magic cards they're going to be completely tapped out on names, no pun intended. But anyway, 2 and a black for an instant. Douse in Gloom deals 2 to target creature, and you gain 2. This is Farika's Cure It costs an extra mana, but it's not as intensive. So it's a cool little trade, you know. Freakish Cure is probably still good for 3 mana, probably. I mean, it's much more splashable, which is more important for a limited environment. So, but ultimately, this takes out some manifests and some morphs and a couple of other things. Yeah. It's not all-star removal, but it has the advantage of being removal in this set, and there's really
not a whole lot.
Not really. So play it. I'd say you play at least one copy. It's cool that it's common. They could have made this an uncommon, but they didn't. So.
No, I'm happy they made that uncommon.
Yeah, you'll see a couple, likely. Pick them up.
Yeah, it means you'll have some cheap removal for the
it's
guys.
It's one of those removal cards, like I feel like people don't first or second pick, you know, like you'll get it slightly later in a draft. So.
Yeah, and at the same time, because of all the, like, low toughness creatures for the bolster effect, there's a lot of 1 toughness and 2 toughness creatures right now in this limited environment like that. There are.
I'm surprised there are 1 toughness. I didn't think there were until we really started going through. There's a fair amount of 1 toughness guys. So, what do we got next?
Next up, I believe we've got Fearsome Awakening for a black and 4. It's a sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's a dragon, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it.
The token reanimation spell for the set.
Yeah, so if it's a dragon, you get some gravy.
Yeah, if it's a dragon, it's cool. Like
aside from that, it's not bad. It's really splashable. I kind of like it in limited just because if you happen to have a decent bomby creature,
in the graveyard. I mean, even if you have like just a decent creature in the graveyard, it's bringing stuff back is just good. I mean, this is one of those like you one of definitely, but I mean, it's not Rise from the Grave because Rise from the Grave was any graveyard, same cost, you know, same speed. But I don't know, Commander players I think will probably like this. Commander players like Reanimation, and Commander players like Dragons. So you know, have fun with that. Casuals. I mean, it's not. That sounded so like snooty. Casual. I like casuals. I love casuals.
Yeah.
I am a casual for a long period. But anyway, Fearsome Awakening is fine.
Yeah.
It's simply fine. Let's move on to a card that is hilarious. This is just. I love how in every set now, Wizards Points, they print like one black, huge card. Yeah, this, you can have this. You can have this.
Alright, so Ghastly Conscription for 2 black and 5 colorless. If this had Delve, this would be broken.
I want this bad Delve.
I know. It could still be Sorcery Speed. Just give it Delve.
Yeah.
And...
We can even make it like 1 or 2 more mana, like colorless mana.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. Exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard in a face-down pile. Shuffle that pile, then manifest those cards. So you have all your creature cards just manifested as Morphling 2/2s on the battlefield for you to just swing over with, and then
do tricks and stuff.
Yeah, whatever mana you can come up with.
You can get their guys too, you know. I mean, you might not be able to flip them up, but
yeah,
it's still a thing, you know.
Yeah, depending on your deck, you can do that, and that's crazy. I don't see this becoming a thing in Standard because honestly, it probably just says win more.
Yeah,
as far as Standard is concerned.
I mean, graveyard strategies might. The thing about cards like this is that you really never know if someone's going to do some stupid combo thing, and I'm going to play this on the 5th turn, and I have 20 guys in my graveyard. Like, you just don't know if some crazy person is going to come up with something to do with this. I'm with you though. I'm not really seeing it so much. Like I said, Wizards just has to go nuts with a black card every set. There's always one black card that's just stupid and it costs way too much mana and it's a trap. This is probably a trap. I wouldn't play it in sealed. I wouldn't play it especially in draft. It's way too slow. But I keep it in your board and I
will play this on my kitchen table and I will love it.
Exactly. This is a kitchen table card. This is a commander card. This is one of those fun, casual cards, and you're going to have a lot of fun with it as long as you don't go up to a PTQ and with your Ghastly Conscription deck.
However, I will work on something to do with this card. And if I come up with anything good, I will put it on here, and I want y'all's opinions on it. Cause
I'm just going to be watching. These black cards, you got to watch them because you never know. I played Human Reanimator for a whole season. It was the funnest. It was so freaking fun to play that deck.
I remember.
And you just don't know if lightning will strike again with something like that. So, but we're moving on to Grave Strength. This is 1 and a black for a sorcery. Choose target creature. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard, then put a +1/+1 counter on the creature you chose for each creature card in your graveyard. So, Delve Enabler, worth noting, it's not an enchantment. Like, it doesn't put counters on your guy and sit there. You know, they can't get rid of it. You know, it's permanent spell. So that's kind of neat, but same time, I don't think it's quite there in almost any format. Really, I think it's a cool. It enables 3 Delve for just 2 mana, which I guess is fine, but I don't think that it's worth a slot. You know.
I think it depends on your build. If you build and Delve and you happen to have enough like creature stuff going on that you can actually play with this and do
creatures are the hardest thing to get into the graveyard sometimes.
Yeah,
they shouldn't be, but when you're trying to, they're hard.
Yeah, it just depends. If you can build for it, I'd say you could get some use out of it. If you can't build for it though, if you can't have a concrete kind of creature build for that, I would not try and set up for it.
And there's a couple of cards like this that, like, this is one of those funky cards that maybe somebody will try out. It's not, I don't know. It's just not, it doesn't impress me really at all. So I would say I wouldn't play this at the pre-release. I'd just skip right past that guy. Here's a guy I'd play at the pre-release though.
Gurmag Angler for a black and 6 colorless. He's a 5/5 with Delve. And
pretty much the card.
Yeah, it's a vanilla 5/5. But he's got Delve, so potentially you can probably foreseeably play this for like 4 mana to 3 to 4 mana. And that's good. A 3 to 4 mana 5/5 cost isn't bad, even if it's for a vanilla. So, and it's a common. So you could probably pick up 1 or 2 of these and start to build your Delve strategy. So
I think that's key, is that it's a common 5/5, and that is a huge body in this format. You really don't have a whole lot of these big 5/5s, especially in the common slot. And so I think for that kind of body at common, and you can realistically play this guy for 3 to 5.
Yeah,
3 to 5 realistically. And I really like him. He reminds me of Hooting Mandrills, which a lot of people liked in Concentrator Limited. But I like him even more than Mandrills, honestly. That extra point of PT is a big deal. So I would play Gurmag Angler. I would do that. I would totally do that. And I will, likely. I don't know. I actually don't know if I'm going to play black in this Limited. We'll see. I mean, it all depends on your pool, obviously. But black is just looking sort of okay. Now, this is a good Limited card. This is a good limited card. This is Hooded Assassin, which is cool. How long did it take? It took 20-something years to get a card named Hooded Assassin. It seems like that's so easy. But anyway, 2 and a black for a 1/2. When it enters the battlefield, choose something. This is usually good. Put a +1/+1 counter on the assassin, or destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. That's a good one, I would say. I mean, we talked about it. 3 mana 2/3s are good.
Yeah,
that's a good deal. But if you can get that destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn trigger, that's great. That is really quite good, honestly. And I mean, people block small creatures with big guys. It does happen. They just don't care, you know. And Hooded Assassin is one of those that, like, until the environment develops a little bit in Limited, I don't think that people are going to be like playing around Hooded Assassin when they make their blocks that much. So I think he's good. I think he's a solid guy. I do.
Coming up, we've got somebody that I think could kind of work in conjunction with him if you get him. Only this one's an uncommon, and it's another warrior.
This guy's uncommon.
Yeah, another uncommon warrior. He's a black for a 1/1, and whenever he attacks, each opponent loses 1 life. So whenever he attacks, as long as his damage goes through, he's actually kind of dealing 2.
Well,
so he's kind of a 2/1.
I mean, he doesn't even have to get through. He's dealing 1 damage.
Yeah, that's true. It's basically 1 damage unblockable, so that's not bad.
I like this guy.
And then at the same time, he has dash for black and 1s.
Yep.
So for 2 mana, you can dash him out there.
I'm not really sure how often you'll use the dash on this card. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling the dash. I get why it's there.
1-drop warrior all day. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's a little later in the game and maybe I've got like 2 of the power chieftains out there.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll totally dash this guy out for 2 mana every
with
turn.
The power chieftain, he's quite good. Like, a lot of these warriors are costed that way. They're very good as long as you have a chief out. Like, very good. And I don't know, among all the new Warrior 1-drops, I think that he's pretty low on that list, but he's still, like, pretty playable, you know?
Yeah.
I like the, especially in aggro builds, you know, as long as I swing, something bad happens to you. Like, I don't have to get my damage through, you know? So, I think he's good.
Not only that, but it's
Not in limited, though. I don't think I'd play him in limited, like, at all, ever. You know.
But it does also stack with Brutal Horde Chief's Hellrider effect,
Yeah.
which is pretty nice.
That's cool. That's pretty cute.
That's technically, I think that might play into a black aggro strategy.
Traditionally, don't play 1-drops in sealed. Don't play 1-drops in draft. It's, you know, if you see this guy, keep him aside. He probably won't do much ever, but he's well designed. So.
Yeah.
Now this guy is really well designed.
Oh,
Speaking
this
of,
guy.
Yeah, we're a little more excited about this guy.
So this time around, we've got. I don't know how to put this. It's kind of like a. What's the guy's name? Goblin Rabblemaster is what he reminds me of. He's a black Goblin Rabblemaster.
I see that.
He's a black and 2 colorless. He's a warrior. So
Boom.
Next up, he's a 3/2. Whenever he attacks, you put a 2/1 black warrior creature token onto the battlefield. His I'm not sure if I said the card name already. It's Mardu Strike Leader. And he also has dash for 3 black. So for just 1 more mana, you can throw him out there and have protection with him and bring him back as long as he's not blocked. And either way, you're still getting a 2/1 token as well. Yeah. So if you use the dash effect like that...
Yeah, this is a guy I like the dash on.
Yeah, you're basically paying 4 mana for 5 power. That 2 of which is going to stick around, 3 of which is either coming back to your hand if it doesn't die. Yep. And they're both warriors, so if you've got chieftains out already, which I would imagine you would, since you're probably going to throw this out on 4th turn. 4th turn.
Well, I mean, chieftains you'll play, like, if you can play Chief of the Edge, that's the +1/+01. You play him 2nd turn and then this guy 3rd turn. That's pretty gravy. That's
all day. Like, you can totally play this guy for his normal 3 mana cost on curve. Because he's not legendary, so you can have multiples.
Yeah. And I mean, 3 power for 3 mana is good. That's fine. And like Tony was saying, 4 power or 4 mana for 5 power is fantastic. That's like no matter what mode you play this guy in, he's going to be good. So, and I like the comparison to Rabblemaster. I do. I mean, same cost as Rabblemaster, but he has 1 more power. And he doesn't get the like goblin bonus, you know, Rabblemaster gets, but he has a built-in +1/+0 from Rabblemaster. So I think this guy is really, really good. Like he's in my top 10, definitely. There's a couple of black cards in my top 10. It's like him and the Butcher. So but yeah, he'll do work. And in sealed, you play that guy.
Oh yeah, he'll totally do some work for you.
There's a couple other cards you play in sealed. Moving on to Merciless Executioner. This guy is Fleshback Marauder. It's the exact same card, except he's a warrior, so he's technically better in some ways. 3 mana, 2 and a black for a 3/1 warrior. When he enters the battlefield, each player sacks a creature. So there are ways you can play this as 3 mana Diabolic Edict. You know, that's how Marauder was mostly played, was just as a removal spell. And this guy's really good, not only because the format is lacking good removal, but because, you know, in a pinch, you sacrifice a guy worse than him, and now you have a 3-power dude on the board, and they just sacrificed a guy. So Fleshback Marauder was always good. So I don't see this guy being bad in any way. At least not in limited formats. Constructed, no. But still, good card. Moving on?
Moving on. We've got the Black Dragon, Noxious Dragon for 2 black and 4. He's a flying 4/4 standard dragon stats.
Yeah.
However, when he dies, you may destroy target creature with converted mana cost 3 or less.
It's my favorite dragon for limited. For limited environments, I think this is my favorite dragon.
Yeah, I think that might take the cake, actually. I can't remember the red one off the top of my head, so... Yeah.
Yeah, I think the red one is the Lava Axe Dragon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well...
I like that one. I do. A lot of people are kind of cold on that for limited, but I like that card. Yeah.
I like 5 damage to the face in limited.
But anything, especially in this format, anything that says kill something is good. I mean, that's limited. If I'm going to go ahead and cover this real quick because I know that we're going to have some people that don't draft very often, don't do sealed very often. So it's very important to remember the bread or the break system. It's bread or break. Bombs, removal, evasion, advantage, and dudes or crap. This is either the D or the K in this situation. So this guy is evasion, and he's a bomb because he's a 4/4 flyer. And aside from that, he's also removal. So he fills 3/5 of the bread requirement right there. So this guy's very good. Definitely play him, and keep the bread strategy in mind if you haven't done much drafting or doing sealed environment stuff before. Bombs, removal, evasion, advantage, card advantage, and dudes or crap. Moving on though, we've got
Orc Sure Shot for black and 3 colorless. It's 4/2. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. And unless you happen to get all the 1-drops, then this
you're
guy
not even
doesn't
supposed
matter.
to really play like 1-drops.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? It's people. I have heard some good talk of this guy. I mean, a ferocious enabler, but black doesn't really care about a ferocious enabler. And then
a 4/2 for 3.
Or for 4.
Yeah, for 4. Excuse me.
Fine. I hate 2 toughness so much.
Yeah, if it was a 4/3, I would be happy. But it's 4/2, and it's got that effect that I don't care for.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna be like, "You guys are crazy," because that is removal, and you can't use it as a combat trick, and you probably are only gonna play 1 dude a turn, and I just don't. I'm not seeing it. One cool thing, I guess, is that they may block differently.
Yeah.
For fear that they're gonna one of their dudes is gonna take damage, and then you're gonna play a guy and kill one of their dudes because of combat damage that's already occurred. But I still am just really. I mean, he's solid. I will say this guy is solid, which means he's a 5. He's a 5. He's average. But not too impressed.
About the only thing I can think of is there's one creature I've seen in this format right now, in this set with Flash so far.
Yeah, just that barricade.
Yeah, so you could get a combat trick out of it that way, which it was already kind of a combat trick. That's all Flash is. But
like if that's what you're doing in Mardu, it's
it's kind of weird. It's weak. Don't get me wrong. There are some 1 toughness. We already said there's a lot of 1 toughness creatures in the format.
Yeah,
it's like 2 drops and whatnot. So
maybe.
So maybe.
I don't tell. I mean, there are 1 toughness creatures, but
I still just don't see it all that much.
No. Sorry. I mean, we may be wrong on that one, but something about this card just doesn't seem quite there. So let's move to Palace Siege. Palace Siege is 5 mana. It's 3 and 2 black for an enchantment. When it comes into the battlefield, you choose Conjure Dragons. Cons, at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Or dragons, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So, I think that this is a commander siege. Absolutely. The thing about it is that first ability, that Con's ability, looks really good in Limited, and it kind of is, because when it's relevant, it's really good. But there will be whole turns where this is not a relevant ability, And
I think Drain 2 is so much more relevant in Limited.
Putting them on a clock, and
putting them on a clock, and it's a 4-point life swing each upkeep there, so may as well take that. It's if in any Magic game. You're always going for one of those win conditions. It's either 0 life, mill, or some kind of infinite combo.
Yep.
Since we're in limited format, it's really pretty much coming down to just 0 life.
Life, yeah. Clocks are very good in Limited. I mean, usually.
Yeah, so, I mean, sure, it's like a 10-turn clock, but that's 10 turns.
The 10 turns in, Sealed is not incredibly long. Granted, it's already been at least 5 turns.
Yeah.
So, but this will go a long way towards keeping you alive in the process. But, again, I think this is Sealed and not Draft. This is more for just strictly slow environments. Again, Commander maybe because each opponent, anything that says each opponent is kind of cool. But in Commander, this is also a huge target. You're just being a jerk.
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't know. I'm not that impressed by any of the sieges. We've been over that. So moving on.
Moving on, we've got Karsi, High Priest for black. He's a 0/2. Nothing too particularly special. You can pay black and colorless, tapping, sacrifice another creature to manifest the top card of your library. That's so much work just to manifest. He's not even worth it. Like, I'm sorry. There's so many better things I would rather pick. I think we can just...
Can I disagree?
Oh, alright.
Can I just disagree for a second? I mean, we're not going to talk too long about Karsi High Priest, but obviously not a standard thing, I would say. But who knows? Because people love black 1-drops that do stupid crap, you know. This is why Deathrite Shaman was a staple forever, and still is in some format. So, Karsi High Priest, what he does is he keeps your guys from being removed efficiently. You know, because in response to a removal spell or combat damage, you could always just sacrifice that guy and get a new creature. Get a manifest guy. So he's really good when you use his ability in response to things. I will say that. Other than that, I mean, I think he's one of the better 1-drops in the set for limited play. Just specifically because there's such a focus on removal and combat in limited that being able to soften the blow of losing a guy is a really good thing. So, I mean, strictly limited play, I would say, probably not going to break standard at all, because he's just not that impressive. But in limited, I think he's a little better than he looks at first glance.
Okay.
You know, I would say that. But being able to replace your guys or effectively counter removal and do these kinds of things is nice.
Yeah, that's actually very important, especially in a limited format where they don't have much removal.
Yeah. But speaking of removal, I think we finally hit a good removal card. Did we do it? Yeah.
Kind of. This is not bad removal.
Congratulations, guys. We got there.
Yeah. It took so long to find a decent black removal card in the set.
This is the one.
This is as close as we're going to get.
This is literally the one. This is Reach of Shadows. It says 4 and a black, for an instant speed, destroy target creature that's 1 or more colors. Which I don't think that, especially in this environment, the 1 or more colors caveat is really going to make... You're going to kill whatever you want.
Pretty much. I know there's a few artifact creatures, but I don't think anybody's really going to play them unless they happen to pull that weaponsmith guy that we talked about in blue.
There's one decent artifact guy, but he costs too much. He's got big power in first strike, so he's fair. But I don't know. I think that this guy this card, Reach of Shadows, is... You're gonna play it every single time. However many you open in your sealed pool, you play all of them.
Yes.
All of them. If you open 3 in your sealed pool, do not cut this card. This card will not be cut. Do not make the mistake of cutting this. This is premium removal in this environment.
Yeah.
Always play Reach of Shadows.
Next up, we got Sibsig Host for black and 4. It's a 2/6. In his battlefield, each player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library in his or her graveyard. So it's a big ass that enables Delve, and
that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to print this card. That basically this was an easy one for the design team, I would say. I mean, this blocks everything.
Yeah.
This blocks pretty much everything. It doesn't fly, but on the ground, this will be great.
Yeah, this will pretty much block everything in the format and kill anything with 2 toughness or whatever.
I mean, that being said, I think on the 5th turn you want to be doing something else. You definitely do. I mean, I don't really care too much for Sibsig Host. I like the name Sibsig.
Unless you're just really trying for that Delve enabler.
Yeah.
Because coming up, we've got 2 cards that I have Delve and I want to talk about.
Go ahead and take this guy.
Alright, so next up we've got Sibsig Muck Draggers. But
what a name.
Yeah.
Sibsig Muck Draggers.
Yeah. So we've got a black and 8 for a 3/6, but he's got Delve. When he enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not bad for a Delve thing. You can probably, realistically, 3 or 4 off, so you're paying somewhere around 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Cuddleless and
I don't want to pay 5 for this. You know?
Like 5 or 6 for a 3/6 that lets you grab a creature. It's not great in limited, but it's what they gave us.
Yeah.
So we will end up probably making use of it, especially with Delve being such a big thing. You can try and save that one creature so that you can get it back.
That's what I don't like about it. Like, it doesn't have synergy with itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the big problem for it.
You can't delve away the guy that you want to get back with the guy. And I don't know. He's got a big ass. That's fine. But I don't know. There's probably always going to be something better.
Yeah.
Don't like him.
Like, coming up next, Soul Flare. This guy is the black Delve card. They push Delve for this.
Soul Flare is it's just so fun. This card looks fun.
So for 2 black and 4 colorless, he's a 4/4 with Delve. So he's 6 mana as a 4/4, but he's got Delve, and realistically, you can probably cut that down to like 2 to 3 mana easy.
You can play this for 2 mana.
Oh yeah.
You can play this for 2.
And being able to play a 4/4 for 2, and here's the rest of him. If a creature card with flying was exiled with Soul Flare's Delve ability, Soul Flare has flying. And the same is true for any of the other keyword abilities such as First Strike, Double Strike,
all the best
Death
keyword
Touch,
abilities.
Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. So you can have a 4/4 anything. You can potentially give it up to 4 abilities that way. Except there's also things that you can play around with to do even more tricks.
You can put stuff in your graveyard. It's not hard.
I know this is sounding crazy, but I have a dream of trying to build a 5-color mono black.
Nice.
That's basically Soul
Mono black shell 5-color.
It's basically 5-color because of a couple splash cards and being able to have a Chromanticore in there, so I can give this guy the most amount of abilities for just one Delve.
You have the best dreams.
And then just like, all right, now I've got a 4/4 that does everything, and I paid 2 black for it. And what do you want to do?
I just want the hexproof and the indestructible, plus maybe flying or double strike. One of those other 2 abilities.
Man, I want it all.
I like it all. I will say this reminds me a lot of a card that I really liked in Lorwyn Block, which I never remember the name of it, which makes me feel so bad because I loved it so much. I played it for like 4 months back in the day. It was a 4 and a black for a 4/4, and it had all the keyword abilities of any creatures in your graveyard already.
Oh, okay.
A very similar card, and I wanted him to be a thing, but he never quite was. I feel like Soul Flare is so much more there than that guy. Think about it. Even if you don't get a keyword ability off of him, you just play a 2-mana 4/4. Yeah. And it's not hard. I mean, we see people treasure cruise and dig through time for 1 mana, and it's not that hard. It's really not. I like Soul Flare. I don't absolutely know that he'll standard, but I like him. I am a big fan of this card.
I'm brewing him, and I'll let you know what happens.
I'm brewing him.
Give me some time to test.
Yeah, we'll talk.
I will say there's already a black 2-drop that I have in mind for it that's in the format. It's Gurmag Swiftwing. It's flying, First Strike, and Haste.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that is what that's for.
Yeah.
That's what that's for.
Flying, First Strike, Haste on a 4/4 for 2 mana. All because you did, well, hell, at that
flying,
point.
First Strike, Haste.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what Swiftwing's for. Like,
Think about it.
Yeah, good call on that. And you get a cons pack. You get in your seal, you'll get cons. So.
And unless I'm mistaken,
Swiftwing's an uncommon, I think.
Is it an uncommon?
I think it's uncommon.
Okay, well.
Still.
Even then.
That'll never happen. If you crack both of them, that's just hilarious. That is a great idea, actually. I mean, I don't know. Again, I think that might be a little kitchen table, but at F&M, that's probably good. So I really like that idea. Props to Tony on that.
I'm serious, guys. If nothing else, just a black aggro.
Yeah.
Him all day because of Gurmag Swiftwing and that.
That's what I used to do in with the other guy I was just talking about from Lorwyn Block. That guy. The card to use with him was you could easily get the 3-mana 1/1 flying double strike guy into your graveyard, just pitch him, And when you play him now, you have a 4/4 flying double strike, and it's ridiculous on the 5th turn. And Soul Flare, I just feel like has the ability to be really fast and just crazy. So yeah.
He's in my top 10 for the set.
I think he's in my top 10 sleepers for the set.
He's in he's in my sleeper actually. Yeah. He's my #1 sleeper.
He's probably in my top 2 or 3, but.
I'll have to look at the list to be sure, but we'll do that in another video.
Yeah. Enough gushing. We got Soul Tie. We like Soul Flare, obviously. Let's go to Soul Tie Emissary. Sultai Emissary is bad. It's a 1 and a black for a 1/1. When it dies, manifest the top card of your library. Some people like this. I mean, I get that. It replaces itself with something better.
Yeah.
You know,
it comes back as a 2/2. Well, it replaces itself with a 2/2.
that you might flip up, and there's things I see why people do like this card. Again, I always rag on 1 toughness, but you want this to die. You do not care about this card.
So you're actually kind of just swinging with it randomly,
who cares?
or hoping to chump block.
I mean,
with
pull it back on blocks. Yeah, I mean, you might actually stop an attack or two with this guy. But that being said, I don't care that much.
Yeah,
this guy.
I feel like that's actually the whole thing. Really, is it's potentially 2 mana to have 2 blockers. Have a turn to have like a block and then another block later.
I mean, it's cool. Like we've seen that people are willing to play the 2 mana white just manifest something guy, and this is, I guess, technically better because you get 2 creatures out of it. But I'm still just not. I don't. Maybe I'm just not seeing it, which I've said a couple of times. But I don't know. In the 2 slot, you don't have a whole lot of things to choose from. But it's like this or Battle Brawler. You know, like which one would I rather have? Probably Battle Brawler. All things considered. But so let's move it on to the other good rune mark.
Sultai rune mark. For a black and 2, it's enchanted creature. It's +2/+2, just like the others. And for this one, it's Death Touch for a green or blue permanent. So it takes a little bit of different building for having the green or blue permanent, but at the same time, it's what, Sultai colors? Yeah,
Sultai colors.
Of course, Sultai rune mark. Oh my god.
YouTube moment. No, Death Touch
Seriously, I'm gonna have
is
so many.
Death Touch is like insanely relevant in limited. It's very good. You never don't like playing Death Touch. So and traditionally getting a boost, a buff on Death Touch creatures is just out of control.
Yeah, so potentially they can block whatever and survive, or be blocked by whatever and survive. It's,
I mean, of course,
it's not bad.
You run the risk of getting 2 for 1. That's a disclaimer on something like this, but Death Touch is so relevant that it's probably worth going for, especially considering the lack of removal and yada yada. The other caveat here is that
Death Touch is a form of removal.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking Sultai. I feel like drafting the last set, Sultai was the weakest color combination, and I don't feel like anything's really changed that much in this set. I feel like blue's gotten some better stuff if you want a Sultai. You've gotten more delve enabling going on, but I still don't know that Sultai is all there. So I don't know. And that's one caveat, is that you have to be Sultai to play this. I mean, you don't have to be, but it's ideal to be Sultai, and I don't.
We got another one like that, and it's
this one though.
This one is
Tassigar the Broken Fang, the Golden Fang, which legend names. It's 5 and a black for a 4/5 delve. If you pay 2 Sultai, you put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, and then you return a non-land card of an opponent's choice from your yard to your hand. This is sick. This is sick in sealed, I would say. You know, I don't know if he's standard. I really don't think he is.
No.
So a lot of these on a stick abilities, it's hard to say. Like on a stick abilities are sometimes very, very good in standard.
The reason I don't see
like a mini Gifts Ungiven on a stick, you know, or like a fact or fiction sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, like here you get 1. Oh no. Then return. Oh yeah, just a non-land card. So you're paying 4 mana for 1 card, and you're putting 2 in there. Like
This is draw a card though.
Yeah,
it's draw a card.
It's draw a card and enable delve at the same time for 4 mana.
Maybe I'm greedy. I want him to have another ability. I want him to have an actual keyword ability. I want him to fly or something. I'm greedy, but I feel like, 5 and a black, you'll play this guy for like 3 mana.
I don't know. I feel like I'm greedy because I feel like I just wanted to be the 2 hybrids for that effect. Like
not the 2 tacked on.
Like I know he's got delve and his 6 and all, but he's a legendary.
He's a pretty silly commander.
I want him to have so much more power than what he's got.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say in sealed you play the guy just because he technically can draw you a card.
Yeah, in sealed, sure.
You'll play. He's like a 3 mana 4/5 most of the time, and that's very good. He's at least a 4 mana 4/5, which is desirable. That's more than on curve, and I like him, but I don't think he'll like. I think we're on the same page. I don't think he'll break standard. So next up, well, you got anything else on Tassiger? He's nice. He's nice. Get him if you play him in sealed. He's good.
I agree. Play him in sealed. If he does break standard, it's going to be some weird janky thing that we're never going to see coming.
Well, that's Sultai.
Yeah.
I feel like Wizards did a good job of making Sultai like kind of janky, but it does what it does. It does what it has to do.
Next up, we got Tassiger's Cruelty for a black and 5. It's delve, and it's each opponent discards 2 cards. I wish that was target player discards 2 cards, because that means you could fill your delve for 3 cards that way specifically, or at the same time, you can nail your opponent for 2 cards if they only have like 2 in their hand they've been holding up.
I feel like each opponent,
I like that option. It's
worded really carefully. Each opponent might be a commander card for the commander discard deck, I don't know.
Or if nothing, not even so much commander discard, just like a big casual discard deck where you like to play with multiple opponents. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've enjoyed a lot of those games.
Yeah, me too.
I had a mono.
And that was like the first 8 years of me playing Magic was kitchen table, so... Delve on this card is fine. I think that people like playing Mind Rot in sealed, and if you can make this cost 3, it's okay. But like, I don't want to work for my Mind Rot. Like, I already kind of want to cut Mind Rot. It's a 22nd, 23rd card, so I'm not feeling Tassiger's Cruelty. With that, let's go on to our final card in black for Fate Reforged. Don't call it a comeback. He's been here for years. This is Typhoid Rats. Typhoid Rats, so popular in limited environments that 1 mana Death Touch 1/1s are just called Typhoid Rats. And now they've brought us back the original. Yeah. And you gotta love your 1 mana Death Touch guys.
Indeed.
I love that Typhoid Rats is in this set.
And it
changes things. Yeah,
alright, so
good old dependable really Typhoid Rats.
Is 1 mana block a creature killer.
And it dies.
It's 1 mana removal. So when we've been downing removal, here we have
it.
The
1
best
mana
selection.
removal. I don't care what you say. Typhoid Rats is always 1 mana removal, and it's situational, sure, whatever. But honestly, this scares people. People don't want
to attack, and
seriously,
they don't want to block it. So if you end up getting multiples of these, play all of them.
Yeah.
If you end up getting multiples on the board, you're always going to swing with at least 1, and have some held up to block, and the one's going to get through. Your others. Well, your 1 is probably more than likely going to get through.
Likely. Yeah, if you have multiple Typhoid Rats on the battlefield, it's really easy to always get 1 through.
Yeah.
Always. Multiple Death Touch creatures, it's always like that. Typhoid Rats is one of those, like, if you're new to the game, or if you don't play Limited very often, you might think it's just a 1-drop. But, honestly, the credo is to kind of stay away from 1-drops in Limited, unless they're Typhoid Rats. So, play this guy, he wrecks combat, The best way to play around him, by the way, is just swing in. Just swing in and make him get rid of it, and then you can breathe easy for the rest of the game. Hold your big guys, but he makes you hold your big guys back. And
it will stall the game out so that they can win, or vice versa, so you can win.
Yeah, Typhoid Rats makes the game so annoying for your opponent.
Yeah, it changes the whole strategy.
Because they can have the best 3 or 4 drop, and it doesn't matter because Typhoid Rats can just sit there and block it. And by the way, if they swing in second turn with their 2 drop, or their 3rd turn with their 2 drop, your 2nd turn, or if they swing in with a 1/1 or whatever, don't block it. Don't block it with Typhoid Rats. Just let that damage go through. Damage is a resource. Wait until they play their 3rd or 4th turn guy, and just don't let that guy attack because he won't. If they play a 3/3 or 3/4, something like that, and you have Typhoid Rats out, he probably won't attack with that big guy. So,
because as soon as he does, you just block and kill.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about Typhoid Rats. There's a lot of good, sort of all the negative one removal in this set kind of deals with Typhoid Rats, but Typhoid Rats is always a thing. If you open 3 of these, I'd play all 3, honestly, because he's always been good. Even in formats, limited environments where there's sort of a lot of removal, he's still good. He's still good. So. But I think we're done gushing. That's probably the most anyone's ever talked about Typhoid Rats. I think we're done talking.
But yeah, that's been our show. That is our set review. We are done with Black. Join us next time for red.
Yeah, moving on to red. Probably maybe my favorite color in limited in this set. Maybe.
Honestly,
this
is going to sound really weird because I usually don't play this color at all. I've started to lately. I've started to open up and warm up to this color a lot more. Green.
I knew you were going to say green. Yeah.
Green is... I like green right now. I'm going to have so much fun playing green. I'm probably going to be playing something that is like green, black, blue, or green, black.
Yeah, I want to try out Soul Tie too. I want to try out Soul Tie and see if it got any better with this. So, we'll see.
Well, I'm not really planning so much. Well, I am planning Soul Tie, but like not Soul Tie type stuff. Yeah. I guess. Just happening to run those kind of colors.
Well, and after red, I believe, is green. And then we'll do the gold, and we'll be wrapped up on our Khans of Dark Set review. So join us next time. We'll be talking about red. And seriously, hope you guys show up for that. That'd be awesome. You guys are awesome at YouTube. Go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe would really help us out a lot. And yeah, come back for more of this because we really enjoy doing it. And, you know, I hope you enjoy it too. See you guys next time. We are Strictly Better MTG. I'm Devin.
I'm Tony.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.